Hey there, folks. Chuck here, and I bought 12 pounds of diecast cars. So if you're bored, lonely, and you enjoy living vicariously through other people's poor financial decisions, grab a beverage, sit down, and join me, won't you, as I go through this haul that I just found at my local flea market. I normally don't go to the flea market, and I had a free Saturday and thought, hey, I'll check this out. And I figured I'd find a lot of stuff like this. Just plasticky, weird nonsense from Mattel, of all places. Made for McDee's. So, yeah, that kind of thing. But I was pleasantly surprised when I found a lot of stuff like this. Vintage Matchbox 57 Chevy. And I got a lot of these individually, and a lot of them kind of came in bags. I was going to do like a studs and duds or dope or nope kind of stuff. But most of these I picked, so there's going to be way too many studs and not that many duds, like this one. But I do have a soft spot for these weird knockoff cars. This one actually says Lancia on the bottom of it. Lancia Stratos Turbo, even though that's a very artistic representation of the car. But anyway, let's see, this is definitely one that was in the in one of the mass bags that this one guy was selling off his son's collection, and a lot of them are like this. And then I kept looking closer and I was like, oh, there's some cool old stuff in here. This is the Ford Shelby GFH concept from Hot Wheels. This is the Ferrari F50 from Hot Wheels. There's a no-name Camaro. But yeah, I thought it was going to be a lot of this, and then I find stuff like this Yachtming Blazer. That's got this really awesome 70s graphics on it, opening doors. Looks like it's missing the dashboard of all things. But I love these old Yatmings so much, and I didn't think I'd find any of them, and there's quite a few, as you'll see. This is a Matchbox Ford panel van in the 90s, early 2000s. Still plenty of these rolling around. Kung Fu Panda. Here's a Yatming Chevy LUV, or Love. It's based on, not Mitsubishi. Was theirs based on Mazda, I want to say. But yeah, that's cool. Found this cool, I think this is Road Champs? Yeah, Road Champs Winnebago. It's not quite 1/64 scale, but it's an amazing background vehicle. And it's close. I mean, there's this, and what's a close representation of actual 1/64 scale? All right, like this, another one. Holy cow! Old school blackwall Hot Wheels 79 Mustang. So I mean, it's not that far off. It's one of those mind over matter things. You don't mind, it don't matter. So yeah, that one's awesome. These ones are interesting because I just realized that the sides are actually the clear. Like, this must be all the same piece as the glass. And it just kind of wraps around. And there was a metal body, metal base on these things. So that's really fun. Very excited about that one. And then there's other ones. It's supposed to be a Mustang Cobra 2. Again, a very loose interpretation of that. This looks Trek Tune. This looks kind of like a Supra, I guess is what they were going for. But fantasy Hot Wheels car, not that exciting. Matchbox old Ford F100. That is exciting. I actually had this one as a kid. It originally had like a white plastic top, but like mine, it is no longer with us. The Corgi Jr.'s US van. You might recognize this from... This is one of them. That's the Superman. This is one of the Superman vans. I didn't even realize that. It's awesome. I actually built one of these for my best friend Adam. You can see the link up here to the up there for the Corgi van build that I did for him. This is another Yatming, the ubiquitous Ford-ish van that they made. Looks like it's definitely seen better days, but I love these silly old vans so much. There was a guy that had several of these, and he knew what he had. Well, he thought he knew what he had. He thought he had a gold mine in Yatming, and I did not buy his Yatmings because he wanted like $5 each for them, which is not terrible, but for what I'm going for, I don't need them. Speaking of Yatmings, excuse me. Mercedes-Benz 350 FL. FL? SL. I was going to say. So that's really cool. Some great malaise there. Summer Rolls-Royce. Not really anything super special there. But I do have an idea to do an old boneyard full of like 19-teens to 1930s cars, using one of the builds from the kits from SK75 Works. So some of these could come in handy for that. Well, that's some generic Rolls-Royce-y looking thing. It's pretty awful looking, but oh well. Most of these were about $1 each. I was amazed at the deals I got on them. They were, a lot of them, super cheap, especially like a lot of the guys that the more you bought, the more you saved kind of thing. So this is an old Matchbox Mercedes. It's the G-Wagon. I thought originally it was one that lit up or something because of the way these things stuck through, but that's just plastic. So that's funky. Doesn't say what scale it is. It feels about right. There's a Maisto, kind of generic steak truck, but kind of liked that back. That could be useful for something. This was an unexpected find. This was in one of the grab bags. These things are pretty tricky to come by. This is a promotional Domino's vehicle. I think it was by ERTL. Yeah, ERTL. Replica Chevette. I like that it says replica so you don't get confused with the real thing. But yeah, I've only seen these castings as a Domino's promotion thing, and they're pretty hard to find on eBay. They're pretty expensive when they do show up. So yeah, that one's a very cool candidate for a build. And it fits sweetly in my malaise love, much like this Omni does. This is an old Blackwall Hot Wheels. Of the many cars that have been made, nobody has made a Plymouth Valiant, none of the big guys anyway, in 1/64th scale. There's some Australian Valiant stuff out there, but you know, it's super expensive and hard to get over here. But of all the cars, as popular as Valiants were, nobody has bothered to make one. There's another one of the 79 Hot Wheels Mustangs. This one says SVO on it, although this is definitely not an SVO Mustang because it's got the quad headlight set up, and it's, I think this is a little too early still for the SVO because the SVO was 84 to 86, and this is definitely a 79 to like 82-ish looking one, or 83. But that's cool. Old metal with the gold plated black walls, and it's in really good shape actually. So might not be able to chop that one up. It might be too nice. This is the I think it's called the Thunderburner, but it's very clearly a Ford Thunderbird stock car. It's got a little roll cage in it. Another metal black wall. Very cool find. There were a lot of black walls. I was really surprised at that. Like I wasn't expecting to find any red lines, and I didn't. But there were definitely a lot of black walls. This is the Flat Out 442, which was loosely based on whatever the Oldsmobile version of the Citation was. I don't think they were. The 442 might have been a trim package, but this is like some weird hot rod dirt track stock car version. It wouldn't have lake pipes with a dirt track or a stock car, but it's a cool one. This is the closest I found to a red line. There was a Pack and Pacer in there, and it's dated 77, so this would have been, you know, after they switched to I think 77 was the last year they did red lines, and even then they weren't all red lines, but this is a black wall. But I think there was a red line version of the Pack and Pacer, but that's still very cool. That was one that's on my hit list that I didn't think I would find, let alone find it in a Ziploc bag of cars for like $5. So good find. This one was interesting because it's rare you see cars with figures in them, such as they are. It's not much of a figure, but it's there. He's wearing a baseball cap for some reason. A no-name like Can-Am Chaparral type looking thing. Another classic that shows up everywhere. The sort of Plymouth Fury, sort of Ford LTD, Hot Wheels, metal. Let's see. This one was funky. The Apache. Just says made in Hong Kong on the bottom, but it definitely has that Yatming Zylmex type feel on it. It says Chevrolet on the back, which is interesting. So it is actually branded. I don't know if they had permission to use that or not, but I thought that had a pretty funky setup there. And that engine, which appears to be a Hemi, if those things are supposed to be there where the spark plug wires would go. There's actually some pretty good detail in that. That could be moved into something else, and then this could, fall into my ever-growing pile of crappy square body castings. This one's fun. This is a Maesto Citroen 2CV. I think it's a little big for 1/64 scale, but it's proportioned pretty well. And so that could be a good background vehicle for a layout. This is cool. This is a Kenner Fast Ones, which I originally, first time I called it a Fast 111s or Fast 111s or something, but it was supposed to be Fast Ones. These things all had unique license plates, and unfortunately, the license plate on this one is missing. But they had they all had the same weird bumper on the back. But, again, this is like a 79 to 83. I think this would have been more like an 82 or 83 because it's got the flat horizontal grille. Lake pipes on it. Pretty cool. Matchbox Camaro IROC Z 28. IROC Z. I thought they were just called the IROC Z. So I guess this one had a hood that opened, and the hood is missing. But, for very little money with a bulk buy of cars. And this is one of the ones that I love. It's not really anything in particular. It's from Summer. It appears to have some kind of Fiat or BMW front. It says Fire instead of Fiat, and Pippin, and Pippin, Fire, Summer, MS, VS. Okay, whatever. But kind of a cool European no-name sports car. This is cool. This is Kidco. I actually knew what this was when I saw it. I think it was supposed to be based on a Ford van. Unfortunately, it's missing a little bit of the brush guard, but you know me, I can make a brush guard. Yeah, falls under that crappy 70s van knockoff casting stuff that I love. Something was on here. I don't know if it was like maybe a luggage thing or a roof rack of some kind. But, I've seen box sets of these, and there's one at a local antique shop that keeps tempting me, but I'm not going to spend $12 on a brand new set of cars that I'm just going to chop up. So I know that would be much better held in some collector's hands than with me. It's been in its packaging for almost 40 years. I'm not going to be the person to crack it.